to CM Punk's health fund because breaking news as of like what was it, Saturday it came out,
Friday.
Friday it came out.
On Rampage, like 200,000 people saw it.
Yeah, see,
And they all got it wrong. They all said it's vacating the title, which he isn't.
so there CM Punk is injured and out indefinitely, and then they'll be naming the interim AEW World Champion to be crowned at Forbidden Door due to CM Punk's injury. We don't exactly know what the injury is. I haven't heard anything about the injury. I'm assuming it's something towards his foot. Or I couldn't completely show, but I saw this on Twitter, and the first person I texted was Will, and I go, he didn't even last a fucking week.
Yeah, that is such a bummer. It's just such a bummer. Honestly, my first thought was, this might be a work. But it's like, oh wait, they announced the main event with what's his face,
Tanahashi.
Tanahashi. So it's like, no, this is very much real. But then I was thinking, when did he get hurt? Like where he was in a 6-man tag on Dynamite, like that same night. So it could have been there. He had a few more botches. But it's just like, when did he get hurt? What is it? And it's very confusing because in that MJF promo, which we're going to get to, Punk also limped down to the ring and chased off MJF.
Once cameras went off, he did start hobbling down to the ring.
So what's going on? When is he hurt? And when are we going to have MJF kissing Punk goodbye?
This is literally the summer of Punk in AEW at this point. Because what happened? Punk won the title, and then he had to go away. Remember that in WWE? It's just almost the same thing verbatim, except it wasn't an injury. It was over a contract dispute. That was also a very much real thing. And then they had to name it Interim Champion. Like, hopefully AEW does the Summer of Punk better, because the Summer of Punk was supposed to be this monumental thing, and it wasn't. Be that as it may, here's AEW's...
Dude, I really hope Rey Mysterio wins the tournament, and in the same night, John Cena
comes back. Cena is coming back at the end of June.
Dude, all right, quick sidebar. When that happens in 2011, when Punk won the title and left, and they had that tournament on Raw, I was so happy Rey Mysterio won, because I was a huge Rey Mysterio fan, and I want him to win something so bad. And then as he's up against John Cena, I'm like, well, that didn't last so long. I knew it so early, and I was so upset.
A lot of people were very, very upset. But here's AEW's press release from June 4th. We're saying during AEW's live broadcast of Rampage, AEW World Champion CM Punk announced that due to injury, he would be out of action indefinitely. However, he would not be relinquishing the AEW World Championship following this development. President and GM Tony Khan announced the AEW Interim World Championship Eliminator Series. How about just a tournament to name the Interim World Champion? Whatever.
Then they call it the Owen Hart.
Oh, no. It's going to be beginning this one, so it started right now on AEW Dynamite. It's a multi-stage eliminator series, so pay attention to all the details, because it is going to get a little bit confusing. Part 1. An exciting battle royal featuring many of our top contenders in AEW will open the broadcast of AEW Dynamite, which is happening right now.
All right, pause. I already have a problem. All right? Don't ever call it an exciting battle royal. All right? Like, no one really thinks battle royals are exciting unless it's a Royal Rumble. Also, we tell you it's exciting. You don't tell us. That's not how it works.
So the winner of the battle royal will advance to compete in the main event. That same night, this is part number 2, that same night, the winner of the Battle Royal will meet former AEW World Champion and #1 ranked Jon Moxley in an eliminator match in the main event of Dynamite, with the winner advancing to compete for the interim AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door on June 26th from the United Center in Chicago. So that's the AEW side of things.
Dude, I wish being ranked #1 actually meant something.
Yeah.
All right, Ricky, I'm going to ask you, who are the top 5 in AEW right now? Because I didn't even know Moxley was #1.
I honestly did not know Moxley was #1 either.
I didn't know Moxley was #1 before they just randomly announced, oh, by the way, he's #1.
I couldn't...
Remember, he's in a tag team.
Yeah, he's in the British Fight Club or whatever.
Yeah, he's like Regal's kid.
Yeah.
Like what? How are you in a tag team and a number one singles wrestler?
I don't know. Like, so does a champion count as number one? Is the champion just like the champion spot, like in UFC?
No, a champion's a champion.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Like the champ's above number one because he's a
Because
champ.
he's a champ. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I mean, Hangman is probably in there, even though he lost.
Like, why isn't a Hangman number one?
Yeah, how come he doesn't get like an automatic shot at this? Like,
Yeah, like typically a former champ becomes number one. Like when Ngannou beat the fuck out of Stipe in the second fight,
Yeah.
he went down. He went back. He just went down to number one.
Yeah.
Or if anything, number two. Why isn't your champion the number one contender?
Yeah.
Or ranked number one? He was just the champ.
Or at least
Sorry,
in the top
dude, you're
three.
Officially down. You're in number 9. You lost. I don't know what to tell you.
You know, okay. So then here's the second part of this tournament, if you want to call it a tournament. Meanwhile, on June 12th, during NJPW's Dominion, which is pretty much their SummerSlam event from Osaka-jo Hall, highly decorated NJPW stars and longtime rivals Hiroshi Tanahashi, the Ace, and Hiroku Goto will face off in an eliminator match for the interim AEW World Championship, with the winner also advancing to Forbidden Door on June 26th. The winner of AEW's June 8th preliminary match will face the winner of NJPW's June 12th Tanahashi versus Goto eliminator match in the main event of Forbidden Door on June 26th to crown the interim AEW World Champion. Here's more. After the AEW World Champion CM Punk is medically cleared to compete, the winner of the AEW Interim World Championship Series will face CM Punk in an AEW World Championship unification match.
Why? First off, why is this in a giant press release? Like, why couldn't
you could have just announced this?
You could have just announced this literally like on TV. And why is it so Tony? You need a Bruce Pritchard, clearly. Yeah.
They need a general manager to run Dynamite.
Like, not like for real, though.
Yeah.
Like, dude, honestly, it kind of surprised me because you have all these WWE legends back there, like a Big Show, a Mark Henry, a Taz, a JR.
Seriously, JR did everything backstage, too.
Shivani, like Bischoff has been in and out. You know, now you got Regal there. Like, who is advising it? And this is a weird thing to pick on AEW for. I granted, I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's just I watch wrestling for the business end more than anything now, which is what I've learned over the past year or so. And this is just like seems like it's a bad way to run a company. It's just confusing.
Yeah, it's hard to believe with so many resources at your disposal, who willingly came over after you talking to them, how you do not use them to be like, how do we make this product better? Or something that'll be like, what do you know? Or what do you think we can improve on? I would do that on like a weekly basis.